You know, there's nothing that God does in the Bible without it being a teaching moment. Here's an early one that I don't know if anybody ever realized what a teaching moment it should have been. To the woman he said, I will surely multiply your pain in childbearing. In pain you shall bring forth children. Your desire shall be contrary to your husband, but he shall rule over you. Yeah, and this has gone on to completely, so many men think that then this gives them that no, I'm supposed to rule over you. Then the Roman Empire put their writings into Paul's work. And again, Paul wasn't an original apostle, but that then reinforced this. But you know, here's the difference with Mary Magdalene, okay? And I said yesterday, the reason she too would understand Jesus on another level is she's the one that he casted like 7 demons out of. Very much like what alcoholic has. It's beyond, we can't get rid of that demon. It's God that does it. We take no credit for it. Again, none. I showed up to AA, that's it. That's all I did. I mean, I drove there and sat my butt in a chair and didn't speak for a year and had a bad attitude. I don't, and God did something. So, I mean, it's like the same thing. It's along the same lines, okay? So there was nobody that could help her, but Jesus did. So she would be really what her teaching was about inner spiritual knowledge. Not just external, but inner. And given that she was possessed with 7 demons, and given that she was a woman, so she she easier understood things that the men were not going to. She did a lot of inner reflecting, I'm sure, especially when you were possessed with 7 demons. And through that inner reflecting, I had to do this in AA. That's why I can totally relate to her gospel. So anybody trying to say that, I mean, the problem is the first 6 pages of her gospel were destroyed, ripped out. How convenient, right? But the inner knowledge is, like what I had went through recently a few days ago, the 12 steps, explaining them, how you have to do this personal inventory. It's all this inner work. Yeah, it's all, that's what, and if you think you could just skate by on any of the steps, oh no, I learned what everybody said, that if you did that, if you just tried to do it, it says it in how it works for AA. You can't do it with half measures. You're either fully in or don't bother, because it's a waste of your time. So I had a relapse after 2 years, and I pretty much knew why. Because I didn't do a thorough moral inventory of myself. Because it's the hardest one to do, even though it's really not that hard. It's just, it's having to look at yourself. And you cannot blame anybody else. You can't. When you go to share it with somebody, you have to write it all down. All your defects of character, and you can't make excuses, none. Like, it's almost like no matter what somebody did to you, you have to remove it like they're the innocent, and just what did you do? Yeah, they have a whole template to follow to do it, but that it's really good in a way, because there's no way that you can really skate then. I mean, obviously there's times people are truly victimized, right? Yes. But by doing the moral inventory that AA has you do, where you cannot do any blaming. I mean, I'm not saying when you share it with your sponsor, or some people go to it, a preacher or something to share it, depends. But not that you can't say, well, it was because of this. They're not going to judge you. Everybody in AA's heard it, everything. So it's not that. It's more that when you're getting in the habit of looking at your moral defects, you don't want the obstacles of blaming someone else to be in the way, because if you do that, it may be the very excuse you have to not see a character defect you have. Do you see what I'm saying? That even though that person maybe did you wrong, what role did you play in it? That's my point. And almost everything, even when somebody's done you wrong, okay, you can look at yourself and say, well, I mean, I had it coming. You know what I mean? And like, that's stuff people don't like to do, but that's what the alcoholic has to do to recover. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I shouldn't have done that, or this was my character flaw. And so there's like anger, envy. It's like this the seven deadly sins kind of thing. So that's the inner reflecting, the inner knowledge. Yeah, without that, so I totally can. There's nobody in the world I mean, not that the church or the government or anybody would care, right? But I mean, I'm evidence that, 30 plus years of being sober, relying on that biblical God, and her gospel's legit. What there is of it, there's not a lot of it. So there's nothing Gnostic about it. Every time I see that word, it bothers me, because it's like, I think people think occult, which Gnostic really just means knowledge. She was talking about her inner reflection. I mean, somebody that had 7 demons in them, you'd think they would be doing some reflecting, right? After Jesus healed them. So, and she understood Jesus on a better level because of that inner knowledge, that understanding of herself. I think that's really what her message was you needing to know self. And God would want that as well. Because without what I see, is so many people that, it's all the external, and she was saying, no, look inside. So the reason this will get men into trouble is because this wasn't God giving you an okay to do it. He just knew you would, instead of because he gave you free will, so you could have chosen, I'm not going to do that to women. And I'm not saying it's all men, but a good majority of them. And so they think this will give them an excuse. But this was after the original sin. So this wasn't God's will, but he knew it would happen. Same thing going on today. That's why nobody will, that's why I've been being suppressed, It's 2025. I've lived in this country where we're told that, you have free speech. No, you don't. Not if you're somebody that truly knows Christ, you're not. Charlie Kirk didn't know Christ. That's why they put them out there, and they want them to get popular so that you'll follow them. And really all they're doing, not that they're necessarily leading you to the destruction gate, they just want to keep you from knowing the Holy Spirit. Because there's people in high places that know that would change everything. But I think that control system is too embedded, and well, they know what it means. They know what it means. That their biggest fear is women knowing that they have access to the Holy Spirit. I mean, easier than men. Not that men don't. It's just that, again, I think it's harder for men, most especially because of the construct that this world has put men into. Because the construct of masculinity didn't come from God. It came from the wicked one that ran this world. And feminism as well. Does it mean that men are not stronger? No, they are. But I mean, it's just before this original sin, both were heirs to being dominion over the land. It wasn't just Adam and Eve just, tell me what to do, husband master. I mean, the way a lot of these men make it seem like the Charlie, helpmate. And really helper is key to it all. God said, I'm going to give him a helper. It's not good for him to be alone, okay? But helper is also what the Holy Spirit is referred to. And yet it's women that can receive the Holy Spirit better. Do you see what I'm saying? Like God knew all along what was going to happen. Clearly. Even before he made them, he knew what was going to happen. Does that mean he was controlling it? No, he just knew what they would do. But he also knew what men would do. He didn't want them to be ruling over them. Most especially, again, after Jesus came, judgment was over, which meant this should stop, and it never has. So that's why I'm saying that God's coming for the men. Not all men. I mean, he'll judge everybody, but this will not go. All these churches, most especially, that have pushed this, all these men that have pushed Paul's writing over Jesus's teaching, Oh, wrath's coming for him.